السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Walaikum assalam.
Welcome to the Masjid Carpark podcast, episode 11. It is being brought to you right here from this freezer that we are in. We're sitting in the studio. However, the brothers feel like it is very, very hot in here. So the air conditioning is blasting, and yours truly does not like air conditioning. Talk to me, Lata. How are you putting up with this cold?
It's actually quite nice. I'm disappointed that the air conditioning stand off a little bit.
Very
Gotta make it kram.
Very pleasant.
Very pleasant. Oh, mate, do you know how happy I was when the boys outside said it's freezing, can we turn it off? I was like, of course you can, gentlemen. Go for it. How's this week going? What's been happening? Talk to me, Maulana.
Nothing much really. Just we're planning for the new year. Our new year starts after Ramadan, so we come in.
Madrasa New Year.
Yeah, so our end of the year is 2 weeks before Ramadan. So about a fortnight. Yeah, for 2 weeks, 10 days before Ramadan. And so what we do is for the new year, for the Alim course, what we do is we purchase all our books. We actually run the first week, which is 6 weeks later. Our main holiday for madrasa is over Ramadan. 2 weeks before Ramadan, and a week after that, after Ramadan, after Eid. And so therefore we're purchasing all our books, getting ourselves organized, ready for new year, new classes. And we actually run for 1 week our classes. So that
For next year?
For next year, which is after Ramadan. Then
Is that with next year's students or current students?
current students and also the new first year's Alim class that will come in. That way, when we come back from holidays, you know, if you're in teaching school, the teachers will know this, it takes a long time to get everything
Right.
organized and plan, like you're planning still and running around for books. So we do that all before.
Yeah.
When we kick off the year. What's that?
They have, before the year finishes,
That's right, yeah.
they have the day where like year 7s that are coming into high school, so year 6s that are going to high school, I think that's what happened with my
Exactly.
son. They go for a day and just check out the school, get to know the school.
Yeah,
Is that when
make
they buy
friends.
books and stuff?
No, books is separate. Books is
It's
another
just
thing.
like schedules, placing the teachers who are going to teach, they're appointed, they're ready to go. So when the year starts, everything's
hit the
already
ground
set.
running.
Because usually, but when you come back from holidays, it's another 2 weeks to get on top of everything. If you don't plan in advance.
Mashallah. What about yourself, Lada?
Myself, well, you know how I've got my pigeon stories.
Oh yes. How is our friend the pigeon? What was his name? What did we
he's-
call him last time?
I'll call him my friend.
Your friend, that's right. My
Yeah.
friend. How
Yeah,
is
so
my friend?
My friend's doing all
Mr.
right.
Squab.
But I've but I've got this new bird. I don't know what type of bird it is, but it's attacked me twice now.
Wait, go back up. Attacked you.
Yeah, so I feed my friend the pigeon
Yeah.
in my balcony. So because he flies into the balcony, I've got a plate of water
Oh, so you've gone next level with this guy now.
and his seeds, right?
Inshallah.
So one day, I'm chilling on my seat on my balcony. My friend's eating. We're having a lovely time, and this rogue bird just comes in flying whilst I'm using my iPad. I don't know what he saw, but he wanted some part of my face. So I just threw my iPad at this bird.
No.
And luckily it didn't go, because it was just an instinct reaction, right? I didn't plan it. It just happened. That was the first thing. Just chucked my iPad at this bird. But I didn't realize that I was on a balcony, and then luckily it didn't go over the balcony.
Oh, Alhamdulillah. How is the iPad?
The iPad's, it's got some damages on the corner, but I had like a protective cover / keyboard that's damaged. Cost me like at least like $500. So I'm a bit bummed out about that. And it was brand new. And then it came again for a second time to like, it did like a flyby or whatever's on my face.
A drive-by, a flyby.
Yeah, and it tried to attack me again, and yeah,
I
same
think
thing.
it's jealous of the pigeon.
Could be, but
Well, how was my friend in all of this? How did my friend react?
he was just like watching me, going, "What are you doing?" You know, just continued eating. Didn't
You're
care,
on your own in this one.
yeah, it was as if he was used to it and I wasn't. But apart from that, nothing really interesting. So yeah, been attacked twice by this rogue bird.
So do you still go out on your balcony?
Hey,
Do you still go out on your balcony?
yeah, but now I've got my guard up.
do you take a broom, a tennis racket? I think you should get a tennis racket.
No, I use you know these you know that
It's a
broom.
magpie. Is it a magpie?
No, it's not a magpie. Its coloring is like it's striped and grey. It's got grey and brown stripes. It's a weird looking bird.
Yeah, it wouldn't be magpie. Wouldn't be so close to. Usually they're in pretty high up. Their nests are pretty high up.
Yeah, and I know what magpies look like. They're just black and white. This thing was not black and white. It was, and magpies usually have their eyes to the side. And you know, whenever you have a bird that eats meat or anything like that, their eyes are usually forward.
Is that right?
Facing. Yeah, and this bird had eyes forward facing. It was looking at me.
Adam, bro.
It was like, I want some of this.
Yeah, whatever it
fresh
saw on my
automobile
face, it was looking dark. Like we made eye contact. This thing, I was like, I see you.
and you're going
Must
down.
be nesting, or must be nesting.
Yeah, that was the only conclusion that I could come to. That there must be a nest nearby,
Or
and it sees me as a threat.
or he wanted an iPad.
Or
With
he
a
wanted
keyboard.
an iPad, a free iPad, and he was just like, "Yeah, watch me get
You
this
you
free
need to
iPad."
take some defensive items out there. How about a tennis racket? You can grab one off Djokovic.
I use those short little brooms, the ones that you
Bro,
dust the sweeper.
how are you going to defend with that?
If it comes near me, I'll instead of throwing the iPad, I'll throw that at it.
Yeah, okay. Good
So
point.
that's
Did
my.
it,
That's
did
my
it just
plan.
happen once?
No, it happened. It happened twice in 2 different days.
Oh, so
that
it
means
wasn't
it
one
is
after
nest,
the-
It is
Yeah.
nesting there. Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably is this thing.
So it's not a once off.
So maybe you
It
should.
could have just flown past your balcony and then attacked you. But
But just the eye contact, that's what was a bit strange. Just the way it looked at me.
Maybe it's jealous. So it's
Nah,
not meat.
I'm-
It's like, how dare you?
I really think it's nesting. I think Marlon is right. It must be nesting because it was aggressive. Nah, I think I'm getting too involved with birds.
yeah.
Well, that's my point, Lata. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Going back to Djokovic,
Yeah, Djokovic.
tell us what
He
happened
won-
at the
he
Australian
won
Open.
3 years in a row, Australian Open.
Mashallah, man. The
The
guy's a machine.
He loves winning
yeah,
those,
yeah.
man.
The guy is, and he's funny.
Yeah.
I actually find him to be very funny.
Yeah, they even with the he's just too the badly behaved Australian players or people complaining and this and that, or Australian fans. You know what? None of them can get under, despite being quarantined. Whatever, guys are professional.
Well, the amount of the amount of Opens that he's won, Grand Slams that he's won,
Yeah,
it's basically he's got the discipline and the experience that nothing
just
phases him.
a water off a duck's
Yeah,
back.
that's
Yeah,
why when
all
you-
this shade they're throwing and some Australian players that were like making fun of him on social media. The guy's he's literally like locked out. Like he's that mentally disciplined.
I remember
Brilliant.
I remember watching him play against, I think, the guy that he just beat to win the Grand Slam. Forget his name.
Nadal? No,
no.
It was a newcomer.
He's a newcomer.
TM
Yeah.
or something.
And I remember watching their prize winning differences. No, Djokovic
the
was
amount,
on
yeah.
100 million worth of prize money, and this guy was like barely 600,000. So
Yeah, he's got a long way to go. But imagine being a newcomer.
and that's just prize money.
And the thing is, you're a newcomer. You're against Djokovic,
Yeah,
who's got all of this experience. How do you deal with that? And so now, especially with Federer and Nadal slowly bowing out, this guy is the next powerhouse. He's 10 years younger than both of them, and he's close to their
Nadal?
records.
How old is Nadal? He's not that old.
I'm pretty sure. Was it
is
Federer?
40.
Yeah, Federer's 40.
Nadal's not. I don't think it's that old. But anyway, they say it's the best tennis. This is like you have the 3 best players ever playing at the same time. Like the last decade. That's what we witnessed. If you're a tennis fan, I'm not a tennis fan. I'm just know what I just hear on the news.
But then there was booing at Djokovic at the game as well.
It wasn't his game. It was at the ceremony at the end. I think the head of international tennis, whatever, this lady, I think American, she was giving the speech, and anti-vaxxers, well, as soon as she mentioned vaccine, because this vaccine hopefully is coming, I think just chucked it in there, and she got booed. And then she mentioned the Victorian government. She thanked the Victorian government for a successful thing. They got booed. She got booed. It was just more idiots. They were people. Just
People are just having fun.
not having fun. It was disrespectful. If someone's won, you're wrecking somebody else's moment. Victory, and they were actually happy that something positive had happened for them. Was something like it was amazing. This event was held during this time of Corona and so forth, and one of the, especially in tennis world, but in sports world, like a international level sporting tournament was held in a weird sort of way with a snap lockdown and so forth. Somehow it got done. bit of normalcy, especially for Australians who love sports. It was like a little semblance of, normalcy.
And then we went back into lockdown again for 5 days.
No, but even that happened. It's still, people. There was, we had a
Tennis fans liked it.
Yeah,
Tennis fans enjoyed it. Everybody else was like, "Why do we have the tennis?"
Yeah, but like you have to start somewhere. They have to. This was a test case. Like, can we go back to other activities that are normal? Like, this is a big event, a lot of people. Can we go back to how quickly can we go back to normal? And this is even before the vaccines rolled out. So, anyway.
Speaking of vaccines around the corner, what is it? AstraZeneca and Pfizer. What have we got in Australia?
I think both of them will be coming here.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
Albanese, Albo, he got vaccinated the other day. Well, I think it was yesterday.
ScoMo got vaccinated as well.
Yeah, they're leading from the front to show that the vaccines are safe and there's going to be no side effects and everything is all fine and rainbows and butterflies.
Look, there's nothing to show that the vaccines in short term, very short, usually it takes a decade to develop a vaccine. The very short term, because long-term effects you cannot know because you need a lot of time for that. But so far, I think like out of, in America, I think it was like how many million? 60 million or something, or 1 million people, like 40 people maybe, or even, no, it was about 60 million people that had the vaccine across the world or in America, and out of that only 40 people had a reaction. Like
which is pretty good.
That's a very good
so it's a negligible amount.
ratio.
But there are some voices of experts, which are of extreme minority. I'm not talking about like conspiracy theories and stuff. I'm talking about actual experts who said, we're just going to wait a little bit longer to see how it,
how it affects everybody else, and then I'll take
we'll
it.
wait a little bit longer. So that's, their choice. But it seems that the consensus amongst the medical professionals across the world, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, pretty much is that it's safe and it's good to take.
And we have no choice.
And Islamically, Islamically it's permissible. Medicine is not compulsory. The only issue here in this one, because it's a contagious disease, but that rule still applies. Do you have to take it because it's for the public good or for every other people's good? I don't think you can enforce individuals' rights but they will enforce on jobs and different things that people will be forced to.
Well, I can't imagine any workplaces or just people in general going, okay, you haven't been vaccinated, but that's fine. We'll hang out.
There is something about personal freedom to a certain level, especially these societies.
There is something about personal freedom, but then also the greater good at the moment is more important because of everything that we've been through.
Correct, yeah. So all of those things have to be weighed and so forth. But in general, medication Islamically is permissible. Some imams say that not to take medicine is better, but that's
not to take medicine.
Yeah, there is that view because have to walk on the line. Don't take. There is a view. Yeah. There is a view.
Yeah,
it's like not to take it, but that's a minority view. But generally, the view is it's permissible.
Isn't it sunnah to take medicine?
It's permissible. Yeah.
Okay.
So when you say permissible, that's like
because every sickness there is a treatment for it. Hence, from that is extrapolated that you. But you cannot give a hukum of it explicitly that you should take. Some say it's mustahab, it's rewarded, it's good, like you said, sunnah. Others say, but the general view is that it's permissible to take it, in the sense of that it's not like you have to do it, or it's like you cannot put it in the category of fard or wajib, something like that. Yeah. But
if you want to fly overseas and have that holiday in Bali, it's fard.
Yeah, don't make it. Don't make it.
Like, which country is going to allow you to come in if you haven't been vaccinated? And within Australia or New Zealand, which country is going to? Well, who are we going to allow to come in? Saying, "Oh, you haven't been vaccinated, but that's all right, come in."
Yeah,
I mean, just the writings on the wall with this one.
Do you guys remember all those movies where everyone turns into zombies and whatnot as a result of like some vaccine? I'm going very left, but I'm just saying how all those movies follow this exact same scenario,
where people are talking, laughing about it.
Yeah,
it's just a vaccine. What are you guys doing? Everyone needs to be vaccinated. Basically, I need to go home and check the tents, have the car fueled and ready, and have a secret spot that I'm going to run off to with the kids.
I mean, I doubt that.
If everybody becomes zombies.
You know what's more worrying than sickness and diseases? if
The zombies?
no, nothing like that. No, nothing. The only if you look at the whole, like, see, this just stopped everything, halted airplane flights and
Yes.
movement of people, right? But if you look at it, like, the thing that the thing that we depend the most on is electricity. And there actually has been historical events that happen where solar flares and so forth have come into
Yeah, subhanallah.
and have, like, a whole region's been blanketed where the electricity's been cut out. You know, if you look at Texas now at the moment, because of the freeze.
with
So
the
what happened?
blizzard.
What happened was everything froze. So even the coal powers, which they've shut down or whatever, the power station, because it got too cold, because they were told to make them winter, like, get them winter ready.
Yeah.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so they didn't do it because the federal government shouldn't tell us what to do, right?
Oh,
It's the whole
no.
Texas thing, you know. So they said that. So what happened was that they couldn't because it's frozen. Everything's frozen, so they can't actually restart it to heat up. So the people are dying from cold.
Yeah.
Oh
This
my
one
God.
kid died. I was reading one article. 10 years old, he died. He froze to death. You know.
What, like in his home or?
Yeah, because there's no heating. It's like
There's
there's
no
some
electricity.
There was a video. There was a
Yeah.
video, and Texas parts, like Texas covered in snow. They never get snow. So there was a video of a picture of somebody it's a bathroom. Something happened where the thing wasn't closed off properly, so the water kept on dripping, but it kept on freezing. So just imagine you
Wow.
walk into a bathroom, up to the toilet. The height of the toilet is ice.
What do you do? with
The
your
water
bathroom?
kept on
Like,
dripping, but
Yeah,
it didn't.
yeah, yeah.
It didn't go anywhere because it just froze and accumulated. So now you got a bathroom up to the. You have to wait till it melts whenever.
Yeah, because you've got no heating to melt it in the bathroom.
yeah.
Oh,
So there was, like, just they're going through a horrendous winter or the end of winter, but
there are so many things that could just happen. That could just
the one I think about is the electricity one, because that could just, like,
Yeah.
stop all civilization.
That's
yeah,
like what
a solar flare
Yeah.
would do that.
Yeah,
A solar
like
flare.
a
that's
big
just-
enough. and
Imagine
it just,
no mobile phones, no radio,
planes.
no TV.
Planes would literally drop out of the sky.
correct.
everything is grounded.
Well, they've already got weapons like that. They've already got weapons like that they
What is it?
use
The
microwaves.
EM,
They use microwaves, not micro as in like oven, microwaves as in like it uses
they throw
microwaves.
massive microwaves in catapults.
Just imagine a
I
tank
think-
with a microwave on top of it. No, they shoot like microwaves.
Wait. Let me make some chai while you're killing someone.
And you get a fries tanks, like the electrical circuits of tanks and planes and so forth. They just fall out of the sky.
EMPs, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mate, that's
Yeah.
it.
Weapons. So, but you're right.
Electromagnetic pulse.
If that solar flare is big enough, and it just it happened, I think, in the US or Canada somewhere, like a small region where solar flare affected the whole regions, like burnt out everything. If that happens on like a global scale, let's say, or half the world or one side of the world, that's like everything going down.
Yeah, everything.
Now
just
imagine where you are. Just imagine, and cars, because it's all electrical, like
Yeah.
so the batteries and so forth.
Subhanallah.
That's a long walk home if you're far.
Yeah,
from home.
it's for me. It's like I live on one side of the city, work in the other side of the city, and and it's like 50 kilometers, 70
You'll be a
kilometers.
quarter your size in a week.
Huh?
You'll be a quarter.
Yeah, I'll be like, come with like rag clothes and arrive with a stick with spear to my
He's got his long hair down the back. He turns up to the podcast,
Western-
and then he realizes there's no electricity,
I trek-
so he can't do the podcast.
I trek the length of the Western Ring Road, with my spear.
Do you know I've actually ridden from my house down to all along Western Ring Road,
So where's your house for the people
Faulkner.
listening?
Faulkner.
Yep.
down to Ravenhall, which is near Hoppers, and also Port Phillip, which is near Hoppers.
What is this one journey you talking
There's
about?
one journey. So I left my house,
at the Hoppers.
went to basically Port Phillip, that's near Hoppers. And from there I went to Ravenhall, so that's near there as well. And then I just couldn't be bothered going up Western Ring Road, coming back up the hill. So I rode into the city, and then from the city I rode home. And then I was gone for like 2 days.
Why'd you do that?
It's for work, and I just
How many
woke up.
kilometers total?
About 70 something. I remember waking
Mashallah.
up that morning and I'm just like, I reckon I could do this. Let's give it a go. It's like same time walking back from the airport.
People usually train for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't.
And then just,
Yeah, that's the
Work
thing.
up to it.
This is comedian. He ran for 30 days,
Inshallah.
every day one marathon.
That's crazy. That's
42,
next level.
42 kilometers a marathon.
That's insane.
So every day he ran one marathon.
Is there enough marathons?
How do you have
No,
that
he-
much time?
Huh?
How do you?
That's
That's
what he
what I
wanted
want to
to
know.
do.
I want to know, how do you have that time to do that? To run 40 something kilometers and then get the rest of your day done. You know, go to work,
He's
make
much
money,
fitter
whatever
than
it is you have
he's
to do.
Yeah.
much fitter than you or I. That's how.
Mashallah.
That's the difference. I've walked from the
So
airport.
that's like
That's
mad.
hectic.
That'll be like back to what we were saying regarding the solar flare thing. That if that happens, then basically Mad Max
Yeah, would
be a
be
reality.
Yeah.
That'll be a reality. And you think how everything, I'm just curious how everything would play out.
Could
Like
you-
how would actually people behave? How would people go
It would
into
be anarchy.
groups?
It would be absolute anarchy.
Of course, it would be
in
anarchy.
groups.
People will be starving. Like food chain. Like even if like in Melbourne, they say if the transport system breaks down,
Yeah.
they said that 1 week people in Melbourne will starve.
In 1 week, just the
1 week,
transportation.
yeah, because
Every
the food's
single day, food is getting delivered. Coles trucks, Woolworths,
coming from the country,
Aldi, they
like on
come
farms.
every single day.
yeah.
Like where
So
does
1
all
week it will take people start going hungry. Like if you see in the US,
Yeah.
did you see that thing? And the people are coming into they're lining up. People trying to push into queues because in Texas because of the shortages and so forth.
Yeah.
So people are fighting in front of the equivalent of their Coles or Woolies. So they were fighting like for food, and he goes like, "We're hungry, you know." Like they need water. They need water. Like human beings, like it's so sad. Like I feel sorry because it's sorry because they're not used to it. So the pain that they're in, you know, they're like there's no resilience and so forth. So they showed a picture. This is not a third world country. It's basically like just Americans in Texas or wherever it was, and they got a pump. They're pumping water out of the ground. You know, it's I mean, we should feel sorry for anybody in that condition, difficult because they're not used to it.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's much harder.
You know, they're eating Chuck E. Cheese and whatever else they're eating before. Now all of a sudden they're pumping water and like they're going hungry. Like there's a guy who he had pallets of water bottles delivered to his house, his shop. He's going to sell it. He goes, when he arrived, it's all gone.
Oh wow.
But then like this, people just took it. But it showed one good thing was he said everyone just dropped money behind the door.
Oh, fantastic.
So he made
All right.
he actually made more money. People actually gave him extra money.
Oh, that's
So
good,
they
that's
took
good.
it and then they just dropped so in front of his inside his door of his business, just like piles of money. So at least people are honest. They didn't just steal it.
You know, you know, one of the guys that will be amazing when if this happened,
Who?
like if the electricity went down and everything went crazy. If everything went crazy, what was that guy's name? John Elliott, young John Elliott from Tasmania. Oh no, he's not from Tasmania, but the guy that's trekking through Tassie at the moment with camels.
He trekked the whole of
Yeah,
Australia.
he's,
Now
he's
in
been doing it for a
Tasmania.
year and a half.
Yeah, but he got stuck.
He got stuck because his camels couldn't cross a river crossing because of the water. Because camels, I suppose.
No, but he
ships of the
he
desert.
took him up
rocky path.
yeah. So maybe you should find out camels like from the sandy places in the world.
No, it
There's
was,
any,
no,
like,
it
they
wasn't.
don't-
It was
they're
just
not
that was
made
stuck
to
and
climb
then
mountains. Like there's a limit. We're from mountains. My parents are from a mountains area. You can't even ride horses, donkeys, nothing in those walking tracks. You have to walk.
yeah, he walks with them.
No. You can't take horses, donkeys.
They can't find
the
their footing.
tracks. The tracks are so. If you've been on a mountain track, even for a human being who's very careful, it's very hard. You know,
So how do they get goods and services up there? Supplies.
they don't. There's not much. They don't get a lot of. They build their own house with their hands. They carry most of the stuff.
What about food?
Food.
Carry it
They're
on your
farmers.
back?
They're farmers.
Wow.
Small things are brought up and so forth. Now there has like a dirt road recently been made, but it's very painful to drive. Like only 4-wheel drives can go. So I went up there, but it's
Did you walk off?
so maybe he took the camels into a place they're not supposed to go.
But his whole reasoning behind it is amazing. That he's made money. He was a businessman. He did everything, and he's like, "There's got to be more to life than money."
Yeah.
So what did he do? Gave his car to charity. Got rid of his house. He actually though carries a generator and a fridge with him on the back of a camel.
An esky.
Yeah, no, a proper fridge with a generator.
Yeah.
These camels are
On a
like,
camel?
yeah, because these camels are 600 kilos each or something, and he said they can carry half their body weight.
Wow.
So that's 300 kilos, but he hasn't loaded them up. He loads them up with 150 or so on each one because they do a lot of, he goes, I'm expecting to do a lot of trekking. Well, mate, you've walked around Australia. Of course you're trekking.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
And he was in
Salts.
quarantine for 14 days. Now, can you imagine somebody we're talking about quarantine 14 days, somebody that's been out on the open road for a year, go anywhere, do whatever you want, stay wherever you want, and now you're stuck in this room for 14 days.
Yeah, it'd be a shock to him, for sure. I want to know: are the camels? The camels are not stuck anymore, are they? Or they're still stuck?
No, they're out there. They're called the SES.
Yeah,
And he had to train these guys how to become basic camel handling training.
yeah.
And they helped lead them all out. Some of the photos are quite funny.
I'm glad they got out, but part of me is kind of disappointed.
Why?
I don't know. I just wish there were camels in Tasmania. It'd be interesting.
Well,
They destroy the wildlife. Look at the wild camels up north.
Yeah, true. They probably would.
And
they don't
Tasmania.
destroy. They don't destroy wildlife.
Yeah, they do.
What do they do?
Just their hoofs, trampling on everything.
They don't have hoofs.
No.
They're
their
the only
feet.
animal that introduced to Australia doesn't destroy the actual earth.
Are you sure?
Yes.
100%.
They break fences and it ticks
Yep.
off the farmers. That's what they have to. There's a guy from Qatar. He came, Qatar. He came here and he heard about in Australia they got wild camels, some of the best camels, and he just saw carcasses of camels. A documentary on Al Jazeera, I think, and he just looked and started crying.
Really?
He goes, "How can?" Because he's a camel. See these Kuwaitis, Qataris, Omanis, like they actually keep camel farms
Yeah.
to connect with their historical tradition. He said, "How can you like just shoot them from helicopters?" He had, like he was so painful. He actually looked and just cried. He could just shoot them. Like you don't even eat them. You just shoot them and leave them in the desert. But the farmers,
why are they culling them then? It can't just be for fences, because up north the fences.
no, because they break the fences. They're
yeah,
strong.
but there's not many fences up. Like
No,
we're
these
talking
big
about
ranch-
massive distances.
No,
Big
these
ranches,
ranches.
is
Yeah. They're a pest to the fencing, and they break fence. The farmers were
But
complaining.
they don't damage the wildlife.
One of my high
I'm
school
surprised.
teachers.
I'm very surprised with that.
One of my high school teachers, he was telling me because they have soft feet, they don't dig up like buffaloes and horses and goats and so because they have hoofs. It doesn't have,
I thought it was the pasteurizing, the constant eating of the vegetation that
which would have an impact on the wildlife.
Yeah, that's what I thought
that
it was.
Could be. I don't know. There's so many. Like
The
there's 2 million.
Pasteurizing is what you do to milk.
Yeah, pastures. Yeah,
Pastures, yeah,
Pastures.
pastures.
Do you guys call it pastures or pastures?
He said something interesting. He goes in the Quran, Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. He first before he mentions the heaven and the earth, he mentioned أَفَلَا يَنْظُرُونَ إِلَى الْإِبِلِ كَيْفَ خُلِقَتْ. Do you not see the camel how Allah has created it? He goes, and then the earth, then the sky, then there's all the great signs of Allah. Because the camel is put before, it shows you the greatness of the camel. It's true. That's why it's mentioned before. So it's like it's a sign of Allah.
Yeah,
But he said,
subhanallah.
you guys just like kill it, like just shoot it from a helicopter. They go out there, do color, just shoot,
But
just
we've
leave
got
it there.
millions.
Huh?
We've got millions of wild camels.
Yeah, but it's
They should just herd them, farm them, sell the meat. They'll make
problem
a
is they
few billion.
tried. There's no market for it. They
Really?
tried. They even build in Alice Spring like an abattoir, like to catch, like to thing. But it's just there's no market. There's no appetite for it.
Ah,
They actually built specifically abattoir and thing to bring because its size and so forth. Everything has to be made specifically for it. But it didn't catch on, and it wasn't thing.
I would have thought they would have make a killing because I don't know. Lots of people eat camel meat.
No, in Somalia, Arabia, people do, but it just
They've already got the camels.
Yeah, true.
But here,
But camel burgers are nice, man.
Camel burger.
Oh,
in Sydney, the Heldon Street.
what is it? Dougie's.
Is it Heldon Street?
Yeah, I think it's called Dougie's.
Not Dougie's. There's another one. The
I don't know the
famous
one.
one's in Heldon Street. They make it. Did they make it here in Melbourne?
Llama's nice.
They
Llama
used
meat.
to. They actually
Llama
no,
meat.
Yeah, llama meat's delicious.
Is that really something to eat?
Yeah, I had that in San Diego in the States.
Llama meat.
Llama meat, yeah.
You got
Halal.
halal.
Yeah, it's
llama
halal.
meat.
Halal slaughtered llama meat. It was,
But llama's like more of like a for wool, and it's expensive. It's wool, isn't it?
I don't know. We ate the meat.
One
man.
old
it was,
one-
How was it?
It was delicious.
Really?
It was in between goat and beef.
Interesting.
That's an interesting combination.
Yeah, because you know how goats are. It's a fairly soft, flavorful meat, and then beef.
It's tougher.
Yeah, it's a bit tougher. Where this is like it's as soft as goat, but with the same taste as beef.
Ooh, nice. So basically, a really well cooked steak.
Yeah, I had biryani with it, so it was nice.
I think biryani's reached the whole world.
It has.
So it was llama
Has
biryani.
anyone had
Yeah,
kangaroo biryani?
Nah, never.
Never.
I've never had kangaroo.
Haven't you?
Nah.
Kangaroo's a tough meat.
It's nothing special.
It's about how you cook it. Yeah, if you overcook it, it just
it's
becomes
nothing
tough.
Really, like, I told my cousin, some brother, I say, they went kangaroo hunting I'm eating kangaroo. He called me from Pakistan.
Yeah.
Oh, he goes, the donkey of Australia. he goes, it just stands there, doesn't do anything. It doesn't run away. It's not like a deer meat or something like it's a game meat. It's not really that. It's not very fatty, which is good. But then you have to cook it in a bit of oil and stuff, so it doesn't burn.
If it's not fatty though.
No, if you if you overcook it, it goes tough. It becomes like
thigh
leather.
is like it's got meat on it. Like it's. But other than that, it's not much there. Yeah.
Are you telling us about your?
Because we used to lamb and beef and like fatty meats, flavorful meats.
Oh, this talk of food's getting me hungry. Camels in Tassie. Eh? So this.
So he'll survive the apocalypse.
He'll be fine with the apocalypse. This guy with six camels.
He's
even got his fridge. All he's got to do is dump the generator, because where's he going to get petrol from? And he can just disappear into the bush.
Yeah.
But what an amazing trek. Like just to travel all around Australia, highways, roads, off the beaten path.
How come it's only white people who do that?
Because everyone else is too busy trying to tell their kids to become doctors and engineers.
No, not everybody. But it's not every nation. Like, you don't see other.
No, we just don't hear about it.
Yeah, we don't hear.
All right, tell me about someone who just decided to go across Australia. That's not white. Or sail around the world by himself or herself.
But I don't think as, I suppose in background wise as ethnics, we're not brought up to have these skills. Not that we don't want to do it. Because I know people that would love to.
It's not just a skill. It's about...
I would love to sail around the world. I'd do it by myself on a boat. However, I wouldn't know. I'd drown as soon as the boat got out of the harbour. I wouldn't even be able to get it out the harbour.
What is it about they have a more adventurous spirit?
No, they've just got more training in these different skills.
It's not a skill. What skill is it? They learn.
What skill is it?
I don't think it's skill. I think it's more about our backgrounds, right? So we all come from ethnic backgrounds, and growing up, our parents and whatnot, they didn't really have time to sort out these things.
But back home, people don't have time. Like for example, there's a guy in Pakistan. He died this week. He was last week, I think. He died in K2. He was like one of the most famous mountain climbers. K2 is like considered one of the most difficult. It's
become more difficult.
It's the highest mountain in Pakistan.
Everest now.
Second highest.
Yeah.
It's more harder than Everest because it's the image of a mountain that kids draw. Like a triangular peak. Like it's very hard. It's like one of the hardest.
Yeah.
If not the hardest mountain in the world to climb. So he died this week. So it does exist, that spirit of adventure. It's not totally absent from the brown.
But that's what I'm saying. The spirit of adventure is there. We just don't have the skills.
Generally, the brown is not down with with the adventure.
He's rapping now. The brown is not down with the crown.
They're not really into that sort of. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but we go like in our history. Like we have jihad, we have ambassadors, like famous ambassadors, like the ones that went to the Vikings or whatever. But they're ambassadors sent by the Khalifa, or they will survey or something like that. But not really like that adventure. We have hunters, like people used to hunt, whatever. But like a spirit of adventure.
But that is part of the spirit of adventure.
But like
I think in modern day society, I don't know about the past, but now. Our kids just don't have the skills, or we haven't been developed from when we're young.
It's not just skill. Like you're talking about when you talk about skills, you mean I'm talking about the attitude. The attitude is not created in us either.
That's correct. That's what I'm trying to get at. Maybe not skills, but the attitude. No, we don't.
Adventurous attitude
from when we're young, because we have certain other things that we constantly do.
I think especially with the migrants, because we have that attitude of like setting ourselves up.
Yeah.
Therefore, you have to take the safest route. You have to take not risks, and all of these things, like extra things, are not that important.
Well, this is what I'm trying to do with my kids. Like, just get out there and have a go.
And growing up, you would take examples from your own parents, right? So So I feel like most white people, like when I say white people, I mean like Caucasians.
That's the same thing.
Like Anglo-Saxons and whatnot. People who
still the same thing.
People who have had intergenerational.
Whiteness.
For like a long period of time, they've been here in Australia. They've got land, they've got homes, multiple homes, and
but that's your perception of it.
But
most Australians don't have.
No, let me finish.
Let him finish.
Yeah.
So with
that's your perception of it.
No, because what I'm saying is that I think things like adventure and stuff like that happens once you have these certain things already secured. Like if you've got security, you've got food. You know, you don't have to worry about impending walls or anything like that. You've got time to think about. Let me explore. Let me do this. But
going back, that's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Basic needs, and the top one is self-actualization. So that's what we're looking at.
Yes.
We're looking at that self-development.
Yeah.
And it's a very good point that you actually made, Lata, that our generation, or the first migrant generation, or the second migrant generation, they don't have time because they're just trying to settle themselves to have some sort of stability behind them to say, you know what, I can do this, and if it all goes to crap, I can come back to this.
I think our kids will be
one of my
adventurous.
friends,
I hope so.
Yeah.
One of my friends, he's got a group of friends who drive Harleys. They're I think they're mainly Lebanese and Turks. So he said he said my father, who came from
what's the name of their bikie gang?
It's not a gang. They're like riding Harleys. Yeah. So he goes, my father's
Lebos
generation,
for God.
My father's generation. He goes, for them, the achievement in Australia for them was they see their bank account and it's got money in it. He goes, and they were satisfied with that. And he goes, and we're not. He said to me, he goes, we're not. That's not sufficient for us. Because we've got that already. Like we worked and we make money, but now we want to buy, like, not the toys. He'll get a boat and then they'll go fishing or whatever, or they will get those extra things, you know. So he said that then he'll go do a ride to like along the Great Ocean Road or up to Sydney, or like a long road, like a bike ride.
So this is again It's about self-fulfillment, because you've done all of these minor things. Now I'm settled, I'm comfortable. Now there's more to life.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody that's just, every week is paying the bills and just paying the bills, and
but
they're
then
working.
What does he do to actualize? He does the most widest thing, is get a Harley. And midlife crisis. White man.
Speaking of Vikings.
But what I'm saying, like, then in our culture, what adventure do we have? Like, we don't have that. We don't generally have that, is it?
But that's what we've got to get into our kids now.
Yeah.
And say, mate, take a risk. What I say to my kids is, okay, you've got to set yourself up, study hard at school, this and that, but take a risk, just get out there. There's nothing. And the best thing is, you know what? Give your kid a tent. I'm thinking about this. Give him a tent. Say, I'm going to drop you off here. I'll pick you up tomorrow. Good luck.
You know where we have it? You know,
that'd be interesting.
Allah protect them.
No, I'll tell you what. You know my middle one. You know my middle one.
Yeah.
He'll be.
Manage.
I'll go back and he'll have 3 kangaroos as pets. One of them he'll be eating.
Hat made out of kangaroo
and
skin.
he'll, Baba, I just built this house and I figured I'm going to stay here for a couple of weeks. I'm like, get home now. You got school.
The Muslim, like, historically, when they, like, I'm trying to see like the equivalent. Muslims were doing well, like in our history, like where you see a lot of.
Where did we go wrong? Huh?
No. When you look at
when Muslims reached for the stars,
when Muslims were doing well, like where do you see people that are taking risks and so forth? So one of the things you see like these the dervishes, or the
what are dervishes?
The people that they cut off from society, they go into the jungle to make dhikr of Allah, to cut off from dunya. It's not an adventure, but it's more of a spiritual journey. But it's something to know that we do, that tendency to get away from society, that's maybe a different reason to do it. But then they go live in a jungle or something.
Oh, okay, then here's another.
I'm just trying to see parallels.
That's actually quite interesting, because here's a flip side to that. Is that all this adventure and all of these things happen, and you're trying to do more or self-actualize for, because there's something missing.
Yeah, 100%.
You've achieved all of this, and
100%.
And the hole's still there.
Subhanallah.
I met
somebody that's connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or chilled.
It's an internal journey.
Yeah, and so even though it looks like it's an external journey.
And that's what the ulama, they call this suluk. A salik is a seeker or a traveler, the one who traverses the path of spirituality. They put it into those terms of a journey. He's on a journey to Allah. And even Imams wrote tariqatul, the way of the 2 hijras, the hijrah to Allah and the hijrah to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The traversing spiritually to Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So like, I'll give you an example, like similar to the camel guy.
Well, this guy John Elliott, that's what he said. He goes, "There's got to be more to life than just money."
I met this guy. We're in Sale or somewhere, Bairnsdale, Sale, one of those Southeast Victoria towns. This guy comes. We're staying in a caravan park. And he just comes there, and he's got his whole kit on his bike. Those bikes that's got the whole everything. There's tents on, everything's on it.
Yeah.
And I said, and we're just talking how much do you ride? He rides about 100. He started in South Australia, and he said, I said, how much do you ride? I go, why? What drives you? Because he drives 100, 150 kilometers every day with all that stuff. up hills, down
There's
hills.
quite a few up in the Northern Territory like that.
And I said, why you do it? What's your motivation? Like, how do you get? He said, if I stayed home, I would have killed myself. That's a strong motivation.
Yeah.
So then we realized.
Was he serious, or was it just a way of like?
No, he was serious. That was actually, we're having a chat long
That's
time.
actually quite scary.
Yeah. So you're right in the sense of people are looking for something, and maybe they're looking at it in these sort of worldly achievements, because it's still worldly. If you climb Everest or you go to the bottom of the sea, then what? Like, it's just that you just went from you made all this exertion to go from point A to point B, and it was amazing.
Well, getting there is half the fun. It's the journey that matters, not the destination.
Yeah,
So
but then
on that journey, your development happens.
But the journey is not the important part. It's why you do the journey, and they don't know why, because they're trying to do something. From Islamic perspective, they're trying to do something. That's why Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, he was saying in his lecture in America, one Sheikh in America, he said that that lady that went and died in Everest. He goes, "What a stupid person! What a foolish person! Left the kids orphan to go to the top of a mountain." Because Islamically, that's what we say about it. What a stupid action to do.
So she should have waited till the kids are grown up.
Even that, like, it's just a selfish drive to go do something where you and it was risky, and now your kids are left, like small kids are left orphans. So it's like people are looking for something. They're trying to, look, you don't need to do somersaults and...
no more cliff diving for me. Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah, my knee's still recovering 3 months later. So that was quite scary, the way you just put that.
Yeah, no. Look, it's just human nature. At the end of the day, we're a machine created for ibadah. And if we don't do ibadah, we don't do worship, then we're going to waste it somewhere else. In pursuits, we think they're noble pursuits, and everyone will talk it up. Oh, they crossed the Atlantic in a canoe.
He just wrote the Hoppers Crossing.
Huh?
You just belittled my right to Hoppers Crossing.
Yeah, like that's, and everyone will say, wow, like, and everyone will cheer it on, and that person will probably believe it, everybody else will believe it, and then we'll feel bad because we feel lazy in front of them. But in reality...
No, I don't feel bad. I'm saying good on you.
No, but at the end of it, they haven't achieved anything. Islamically, before Allah, they haven't achieved anything.
But we weren't talking about an Islamic point of view.
What's that?
We weren't coming at this from an Islamic point of view, but about just doing this adventure.
But he's a
thing.
human.
But it is linked to Deen, because it's that emptiness that you try and fill, or that there's more. And then when I suppose you connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then it's like, well, I don't need more. I mean, the best thing I can think of was I was with one South African brother many years ago in a small masjid, and this guy used to be a gangster in Cape Town, right? But full on tough, hard. And he said, I used to think there I knew everything that was going on, but now I'm sitting in this room of the masjid, I see more clearly than I have ever. I see the world more clearly than I've ever seen.
There's a journey within.
That's it.
That's the person.
And I think that's what everybody's looking for, that journey within. And that's why...
And we have to move, and we can't be complacent. Like,
how do we do it?
We start by tawbah. The first step, Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah wrote a book called The Stages. Like, it's called Madarij al-Salikin. It's an amazing book. It's in 4 volumes. It's basically a tafsir of Iyaka na'budu wa Iyaka nasta'in. So the first stage was Iyaka na'budu, Ya Allah, we only worship you. The next stage, we only seek help from you. So he said between this, like this, he put like 33 stages or something. His other ulama put 100, other put 1,000. So
is that in English?
So it's in Arabic. So the first stage, and it's actually a commentary of Khwaja Abdullah Ansari, rahmallah, the greatest alim that came in Afghanistan. This is like more than 1,000 years ago. So he put 100 stages, and others put 1,000 stages, like how you progress to Allah. So the first stage is called yaqadha, waking up. Like you wake up, the realization.
Fajr, bro, we got to get it under control.
The second step is tawbah, making amends, and like he takes you through. Then there's like a stage of firasa, foresight. So he talks about the yogis in India, how they through spiritual practices or their practices they can achieve a level of control, but that's nothing compared to what you get through the obedience of Allah and the dhikr of Allah and so forth. So it's amazing.
Can you find this book in English?
I don't think so. You
got to learn Arabic, bro.
Yeah, this is punishment for...
That's
punishment for you leaving madrasa, you know?
Here we go. Below the belt. Below the
when
belt.
You leave...
when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts you on a different path, who am I to argue? Yeah. All right. Facebook versus Australia news. What's going on there? Facebook basically put Australia on notice.
Being a bully.
control. Yeah, big time.
Not really. Australia then put up and they stopped the news, but then they had to negotiate. Facebook
But
had to.
that's no Facebook. Australia negotiated with
They
Facebook.
say Facebook could have possibly won out of that, but
They did.
but at the same time, Australia also, it was a negotiated deal.
Yeah.
It's so weird that a government is negotiating with a private company.
It's scary.
But
the amount of power
But
they would
Australia
have.
set the precedent. Governments can put their foot down, and they did put their foot down.
But they did not
but-
with this one.
No, they did. They did.
Why do you say they did? Because my personal opinion is I don't think they did. I think they capitulated to Facebook, but basically had to show that no, Facebook didn't win. We decided we're going to do it this way.
That's what it sounded like in the.
That's how I read it.
No, the Australian news they'll be paying for it, and there's a goodwill thing. They're going to see it over the next few months how it's going to play out. This is like just new. This is a new thing. There's no precedent for this in history.
Yeah, but
But they brought him to the table. Like the other day, he had 6. What is it, Frydenberg? The information
Treasurer.
Yeah. So he had like 6 conversations like in 2 days with Zuckerberg, and they basically within 2 days they nut out some basic principles, guiding principles. Australian news, they will pay for Australian local content news makers, journalists here.
but they will. But the thing is, on that, Facebook makes the deal with them
Correct.
independently,
Yeah, correct.
which they've been doing.
But there was no deal.
for
But
months.
there was no deal before that. Now there is. They have to make a deal. They can't use the newspapers.
Not with all of them.
They have to make a deal,
Yeah, but
and they don't want. And they said we don't want to be the one interfering and policing it. There will be a arbitration process or mediation process introduced in case the newspapers are not happy. Like there's a disagreement.
how
but-
does a small newspaper compete against Facebook?
It's
when
not
the
that
government can't even do it?
they will negotiate, and then there's an escalation process. So it's not a total loss. It's not a total loss. There is there will be. It's a deal
But the
because.
scary part is the fact that a private company.
But they were doing this already. This is the first time that a government said, "Wait a minute, you can't do this. You can't just, actually, we're going to introduce a lot." No, what was happening last 20, 15 years when Facebook was going crazy and doing whatever they wanted. So this is the first time actually government has sort of, wait a minute,
put their foot down.
Yeah.
But guess what? They had to take their foot off again.
Well, there's a process that's been created, a negotiated deal has been created. Let's see, it's only like literally 1 day, it was yesterday, and it's never happened in history. So they most likely will, they'll have to comply. And then other countries, Europe is more probably do a better deal than Australia because they really, when they clamp down on the big tech and the
They clamp
multinationals, because they're very left leaning, especially Europe. So they don't like the big companies pushing the governments around. Anyway,
It just goes to show you like where the world's at right now. I mean, 10 years ago,
Mate, Zuckerberg.
you would never see a company in the same level of negotiation of like a country before.
No.
If
What
you
are
were
you
a company
talking
and you
about?
wanted to do business,
what are you talking
you would
about?
have to comply to that to
No.
the
That's-
laws of that country.
Look at history and who regulated
The East India Company.
Yeah, look at
Oh,
that.
yeah, true.
Yeah, you forget,
The
man.
British East
Yeah.
India Company. Yeah, but
Yeah.
now you've got Facebook.
Too westernized.
But the crazy thing is we've got
Huh?
Too
Zuckerberg.
westernized.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to
You're born 30
you need
years
to
ago,
buy some
you know?
camels
Yeah. History, my
and
friend.
buy yourself a generator
And just
and
go
a
for a
fridge.
walk, huh?
And go for a walk, and we'll see you in a couple of years, right? But
I might
then
actually do that,
you
sure.
got Zuckerberg, you got Elon Musk, which is like one tweet.
Bezos, like
Yeah.
Bezos, but one tweet from Elon Musk drives Google. I mean, not Google. Sorry. Remember Dogecoin, and then we had the AMC scandal, GMC. Sorry.
Well, he shot himself in the foot though for his last tweet. He lost like
Yeah,
16 billion.
but did he actually lose that?
But across
Tesla stock dived.
yeah, that's
Not
he,
Bitcoin.
He only invested 1.5 billion in Bitcoin, and then
I thought it was 19 billion. 1.9.
1.9. Sorry, 1.9, and then
is he playing a clever game?
but now listen,
Is he playing 3D chess?
possibly because he
Yeah.
did because his tweet said that he's insinuating that Bitcoin was too high,
Yeah.
and obviously then everyone started selling their Bitcoin, but. In announcing that he's staking Bitcoin, and also that last tweet that he did through Tesla and all his companies, he's lost 16 billion.
Which is nuts.
Which is a lot of money.
But watch him
for-
bounce back.
With Elon Musk, I'm just curious, like, what his game is. Like, if it's just about the money, right? If it's just about the money, then you keep quiet, do investment, and do it in a respectable way.
Yeah.
For him, creating a persona of the rebel billionaire who, like, he actually relates to the average person.
He does.
He does.
And
Yeah.
He really does.
He sticks it to the man, and he loves it. He loves doing it. So it's curious why you do it. Like, it's good for his branding for Tesla cars because there's a cool factor added to that because that's his main business. It's not Bitcoins. It's not even SpaceX is for governments. Like, private people don't buy, or maybe they put some satellites, whatever. But that's like his persona that he's created in the last few years. Like this type of persona, the way he tweets and so forth, memes, and he's the most famous person who sends memes, and some of his messages are very funny. But the persona that he's creating, why is he like this? It's good for his Tesla brand.
Maybe that's just what he is. That's his personality.
Yeah, it could be just the way he is, and
He's
he
just a
likes
very-
but from a business point of view, just if you look at it from business, his influence is like definitely he's tapped into the next generation.
Yeah.
Like the people that are in their teens and 20s now,
Yeah.
he's the cool billionaire, and people look at him and they love him, you know? So, of course, they're going to buy his brand or Tesla or anything that he comes up with in the future because we don't know how far that...
Well, he's launching all those 20-something thousand satellites around
There's
the earth
Starlink,
just for Starlink. But it's
Starlink, that'll be
you know what the
interesting.
scary thing is with Starlink? Like, it's for internet all around the global internet, but it just sounds like Starnet from Terminator.
Yeah.
Was it Starnet? No, Skylink.
Skylink.
Yeah.
He did that on purpose. knowing him.
Starlink,
Yeah.
Skylink.
They said for him to become a actual real villain, like a Bond villain, all he needs is a submarine. That's the only thing he hasn't done. He's dug tunnels under the ground. He's a spaceship company,
Yeah.
electric cars. What else was it? He made PayPal, Bitcoin. Like he does all these unusual investments because the only last thing that he needs is to have his own submarine. But anyway,
He's probably got it. To understand this man called Elon Musk would take a lot longer than an hour.
yeah.
His history, his childhood, which neighborhood he grew
His
up
bio
in.
is pretty
how-
interesting.
I haven't read it.
Yeah, it's
South African.
yeah. He's South African. He went to America when he was 17. At 16, he begged his dad to send him to America. He wanted to study there, and his dad was like, "All right, I'll give you 60,000. You got 3 years, and if you don't do anything of yourself after you finish studying, come back home." And when he arrived at the airport, the first thing he did was he called his mum and he's like, "All right, mum, I'm at the airport. What do I do now?" And then his
Nah,
mum,
man.
did you get yourself a hotel? Did you, he didn't know anything.
Really?
Yeah, and his mum coached him through it, and then he enrolled himself into a college, and then I think
PayPal.
and then he lived.
What's later?
Yeah, he lived like out of like just a 1-unit apartment with him and his cousin, and they just worked, and then they developed PayPal, and he sent like within those 3 years he sent back millions of dollars back to his parents and said, I'm staying here.
Here's your 60K.
Yeah, here's your 60K, and continued from there. And now we have.
But his statements and his things, they do like people watching that and investments and
yeah, they do stick.
and like dips occur because of like when he went on Joe Rogan and he got high for a second and that's it. Yeah, that's the stock prices went down. So like he has that much of
did. I
Really?
forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
They went down because he was on Joe Rogan, and
You got high?
He got high with him, and then people were like,
I don't want to. I don't want to put my money with a weed smoker, with a pot smoker.
Yeah. If you drank a glass of whiskey, then nobody would say anything, and it's just
That's when maybe that's when all his great ideas come to him
what from that.
from getting stoned.
What from Shaitan? Yeah. So he like his statements do matter and they have an effect. Like people react to it, and there's dips actually in stocks just because of him saying something. And if you see like in history, like there's a king. They say he's the richest man ever to come in history. Mansa Musa he was the emperor, the king of the Malian Empire in West Africa.
He wasn't Oromo.
He wasn't Somalian either. He was from Mali, and rahimahullah is a Muslim, and he went for Hajj. But when he had so much wealth, when he came to Egypt, like he gave out his servants gave out so much gold. He had 60,000 attendants with him when he arrived. Like he made such a procession that, and they're just giving out gold left and right, just giving to the poor people.
crashing the market.
It crashed the market. Yeah, a dip is an understatement. It took like a generation or two for the inflation to recover from what he did.
But from what he did, At the same time, he fed his people, and they were well fed. When you have travelers that came into his country, into Mali, there's accounts of they pass village after village, and everyone's got food.
Yeah.
Everybody got shelter. But at the same time, in his whole government, where in Mali, any gold that is found, apart from gold dust, belongs to the king.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's why any gold that is found belongs to the king, and that's why you've got. So that's why he had so much gold.
Yeah.
'Cause he took everyone's gold.
He projected he purposely, intentionally projected, what's the two cities? Timbuktu, and then the other one was
he took over Timbuktu.
Gao or Goa.
Goa. That's
Gao.
Goa.
Gao.
Yeah,
Gao, okay.
Gao. So those two cities, that was main cities, and he built madrasas and hospitals and universities, but he was projected, like had projected such a, like his image was projected, and this is why Elon Musk, back to what we were saying, he projected such an image internationally that when the Portuguese and the Italians and Spanish, when they drew the maps, they would draw him like an image of an African guy holding a piece of gold on their maps. Like that's where Mansa Musa's from,
And that's why they went into Africa.
So he was like tweeting. He was tweeting in that time, like sending. Yeah.
You have a good point.
Well, that's why we went into Africa. We want a piece of the action.
Yeah.
All right.
Like
So
maybe we fleshed our cash a bit
ourselves
too
too
much.
A bit too much, yes.
Come here to India. We got spices. Like we got these amazing spices. Oh, really?
We've got all this amazing wealth. Well, that's exactly right.
We maybe showed off a bit too much.
We did.
Well, you see the Mongol ruler when he conquered Baghdad.
Yeah.
I think Halaku Khan or Kublai Khan, one of those sons or grandsons of Genghis Khan. When Baghdad, he collected all the royal family, the princes, put them out like on a sufra, like for a banquet. But instead of giving them food, filled up all the plates with what was in all the jewels that were there in the treasury. And he said,
Wow.
eat. And he said, eat. He said, why'd you collect all this? This is a kafir telling a Muslim, why'd you collect all this? You could have built better forts. You could have given better arms to your soldiers. Because they were soldiers, like that's the way they looked at everything. And he said that, and then I think they rolled up the Khalifa in a carpet or something, and they beat him to death because the blood of they had a superstition if the blood of a ruler touches the ground, then punishment comes or something.
So bash him
they
inside
beat
a
him,
carpet.
inside a roll him up in a carpet and beat him to death or something like that. Yeah, they're nuts. They were nuts. But the thing is that like we maybe flashed our dunya a bit too much.
Yeah.
And then they just, all right, we want a piece of that as well,
Yeah, we want to take it because we can take it.
They came both to India and Africa.
They went
and took
everywhere.
Yeah. And they went everywhere.
And then once oil was discovered,
They went there too.
There's only like
crazy,
2-3 countries that were not, they were never colonized by the European.
have a look at
Thailand?
South America.
Thailand is I think the only country that wasn't colonized. I think Thailand and I think 2-3 became protectorates like Iran and Afghanistan and so forth. Other than that, they colonized everything.
They say Ethiopia was never colonized, but it was.
It was colonized.
Yeah.
All of Africa was.
Lots of Ethiopians are going to be upset at me for saying that, but sorry guys.
Was it really?
We did get colonized.
Is it? By?
Technically, no. But
because you had your emperor.
Yeah, because I
think Thailand was the same as well.
We were dealing with gold and silver, and then all of a sudden we had fiat introduced, which means we got colonized because we never used fiat currency, and fiat currency comes from the IMF. So, that's all institutions that are, they've got some sort of power over you if they're controlling your money.
Oh, enough talking about all these rich people, man.
Yeah.
It's making us feel poor. Let's look at, don't look at the people above you, look at the people below you.
Allah.
I was reading today, just we'll finish off because it's time for almost for Maghrib here. But Imam Shafi Rahmallah was reading a poem with students today. He said, wealth is not that when you have something, it's when you don't need that thing.
SubhanAllah.
Because you don't become rich by possessing it, by getting something. Wealth is when you don't need it.
You got to explain that.
If you don't need the whole world and dunya anything in it, I don't need anything, then you're a free man, you're rich because you don't need it.
Because it's I think it's insinuating that you already have everything that you want.
Yeah, because you don't want it. Like it doesn't make it like you in terms of that thing, you're rich because you don't have any desire for it. You know, but if you don't, being wealthy is not by getting it. Wealth is by not having a desire for it in the first place. You actually generally don't actually want it. Like there's no need for it. Like you're free from it. You're content.
Interesting.
Anyway, call it a night, inshallah.
Inshallah. Thank you for joining us. Please subscribe, like, and press the bell icon. Also, do comment and provide feedback in the comment section below. Have an awesome weekend. See you next week.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.